Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Vlhadus here, and I'm going to be doing a reaction to a video that apparently has gotten some, talk about. My boy Chaos from Chaos and Lace, their Tangents of Creation. I saw that they reacted to this video and says Josh Strife Hayes is wrong. I mean, Josh Strife Hayes, I actually really love his content. I think he's a great, he's great for the MMO space. I love a lot of his scripted videos when it comes to like his Diablo Immortal, just in general, like how he talks about MMOs. Usually agree with him. So I'm really curious to see like what exactly he said. The likes, there's not a lot of dislikes here. I don't want to read the comments yet. I'll probably do that afterwards. So let's just get right into it.
Trying so hard to make me talk about how will Ashes of Creation affect World of Warcraft's legacy? Visa is trying so hard to make me talk about MMORPGs. He's like,
how will Ashes affect World of Warcraft's legacy? It won't at all.
Come on,
I
Josh,
don't know what he means.
Just say something about Ashes of Creation so I can put Ashes of Creation in the clip title. Say something about World of Warcraft so I can put World of Warcraft in the clip title, because if I can put both...
Is he painting Warframe? He is literally painting Warframe things. So this is just off, and mind you, I've never really seen Josh Strife Hayes like actual stream content. I usually just watch more of his actual like scripted videos and everything like that. Usually I only watch like Asmongold when it comes to like streamers and stuff. So
take those in the clip title, then more people will click on the clip. That's a good question, Visa. We'll have to circle around. We'll have to come back to it. How will it affect World of Warcraft's legacy? Well, Ashes of Creation, if it comes out, when it comes out...
Worst MMO ever, Ashes of Creation. Imagine Ashes of Creation coming out before 2046. Not a lot of Ashes of Creation enthusiasts on his stream.
Possibly, maybe in the future, might be quite good. And then if it is... The problem that what I'm seeing that Ashes of Creation is doing right now is they're already suffering from feature creep. Now, people that backed the alpha...
I'll let him finish, but feature creep? I hope he's not referring to the seasonal stuff.
Years and years and years ago were promised something, and now they are already showing off the game's taming abilities, where you can tame beasts to your will and stuff. It very much feels like...
Am I the only one lost here? Beast taming? Like, the last time they talked about, I'm thinking he's talking about animal husbandry, was back in like February or March. Like, we've seen like 4 huge things, like the freaking character creator, the seasonal transition stuff, the basic melee combat, basic range combat, and he's talking about beast taming. Like, it talks about feature creep. Like,
imagine that someone made a really good board game, but before they released the core board game, they started talking to you about all the features that were going to be in the expansions. And you kind of have to...
Bro, what are you even saying, Josh? This is terrible. Now I can see why Chaos and Lace made a 37-minute video regarding this, because this is only a 4-minute clip.
To say to them, hey, could you maybe release a core game before you start giving us all the expansions? Could you give us like a solid actual experience before you enhance it with everything else?
Bro, I am... Okay. All right. Josh, I will say this. Josh Strife Hayes is an intellectual guy. He really is. It seems to me, and I think any of my viewers that are in the Ashes of Creation community, he does not know what the hell he's talking about. He knows the MMO genre. He's played a lot of MMOs. On his main channel, I think he's only literally have done one video on Ashes of Creation, which I think it's entitled Stop Overhyping Ashes of Creation, I think is what it was called. And that was literally back in 2020. Clearly, he does not watch the upcoming live streams. And I think he was probably pestered by one of his stream people, because clearly in the very beginning of the video, he was talking about, like, you know, how this person really wants Josh to talk about Ashes of Creation. Clearly, maybe Josh, before they clipped this particular thing, he probably just wasn't wanting to talk about it, probably because he didn't know much about it. And now it seems to me that he's trying to talk about something that he knows nothing of, and he's trying to sound intellectual at the same time. And bro, why can't you just preface that you don't know? You know, like, I haven't seen any of the live streams since February, or I don't know what they're doing right now, but you want to start talking like you're an authority on this particular game when you literally don't know what the hell you're talking about? Josh, bro, I'm so... Oh, okay.
I think that Ashes of Creation sounds like a fine concept, and I think they have been very much swept up in the idea that if they don't release with enough features to put every MMO game to shame...
That's not what they're doing. Steven has wanted all these features since 2017 when they kickstarted it. And by the Kickstarter and reaching their goals, there were certain things that they basically put in, like the Tolnar, like a full naval system, etc. But they haven't feature creeped. They didn't add an additional system and said, oh guys, yeah, we're also doing this too in like 2018 or 2019 or 2020. And again, this is all a part of the core game. And again, it does seem like a lot, but aren't we as MMO players always complaining that all these core games of MMOs, we get bored in 3 weeks and then there's no content? So what are you saying? Like, you're saying, oh, come up with the core game so that way the videos could be that Ashes of Creation, yes, has a great core game, but you finish it in 3 weeks, so it's quite boring and lacking content. I don't understand. Like, I literally don't understand where he's trying to come from in this.
Then they're going to fail. If they... World of Warcraft didn't release as it is now. It didn't even release as Wrath of the Lich King. Most MMORPGs release with a base core game and then add the expansions as they grow.
And Ashes of Creation will do that. It's just the core game for Ashes is quite massive compared to any other MMO that's out there. And to say that, oh, well, we can release the game without naval, it can't. I'm sorry, the way economical goods are going to work, you kind of need a naval system there so you can ship things back and forth to the 2 continents and probably to the other islands. So yes, their core game is huge. But again, as MMO players, we want that content. I really don't understand where he's talking about release a core game first.
RuneScape didn't release as it is now. Elder Scrolls Online didn't release as it is now. Neither did Guild Wars 2. And I worry that, and again, this is an audience problem. A lot of MMORPG players, when they see a brand new MMORPG come out, they think, hey, this best release with all of the features that all the other games that I know that they have and that I love. No, a game when it releases now will not release in a finished state, and then it will slowly add to it over time.
But hasn't that been the problem? I don't know. Like, again, is Ashes of Creation a very ambitious MMORPG? Completely agree. Completely agree. You know, maybe should they have maybe come out with 10 professions instead of 18? Maybe. Should they have came out with, you know, a religion system, a naval system, and all these other like societal systems all at the same time? Maybe. I don't know. But again, if I am putting $40 million of my own money and I want the game that I envision, I'm going to make it the way I want. I don't know. Like, I don't... Feature creep is a real problem in game dev, and it is indistinguishable from a promising more while delaying and asking more, or asking for more many. Okay, I shouldn't have probably wrote that. All I'm saying is that Ashes of Creation, I understand there is a hype with it. Hell, I'm a content creator for it. But at the same time, people understand what it is. And is it a big game? Yes. But that's why we want this game to succeed, because it's going to have everything we can possibly get. And that way, expansions can focalize and centralize on certain things, and not all these overarching power creep systems that usually fail in most MMOs. So, uh,
Now, this is a balancing act because some people hate the fact that games don't release finished. And in certain genres and in certain
no,
game styles, that makes total sense. If a single player game releases unfinished, yeah, that kind of sucks. If an MMORPG releases in a playable state and just gets better over time, that's kind of how MMORPGs have always done it. They release
can we agree then that New World released with a core design, and technically in a year it has gotten better over time? Can we agree there? I think it was buggy. There was a lot of issues and everything like that. But if that is what he's trying to talk about, if he's trying to talk about, well, World of Warcraft came out and it was a core game, at its release, like, okay, but not everything is World of Warcraft. So I'm just very puzzled as to, like, does he want the game out? Does he want it to come out sooner so that way we have something playable? Like, Alpha 2 is literally going to be released probably literally in 6 months, like 5 months. So
in a solid playable state, find their foundation, and then release expansions which enhance this foundation. If you add an absolute load of extra bits into your game before you have a foundation, these extra bits aren't actually enhancing a core gameplay loop because you don't know what your core gameplay loop is. You've just got
World of Warcraft, when it launched, they knew what their core game loop was before the game was launched. They knew what it was. Very basic, very rudimentary. But they understand what it was because they were taking the model from EverQuest 2. Because a lot of the developers that were playing EverQuest 2 were like, screw this, let's make our own game. So they knew what kind of core game loop they wanted. I am pretty sure Steven knows the kind of loop he wants people to have and what he wants people to play. Now, whether we know right now or not, it to me is kind of irrelevant because we're gonna know once we start playing the game. So, bro, I don't
hundreds
know.
of extra bells and whistles that are not strong enough to stand on their own merits, but also not strong enough to enhance whatever the core game is because the core game hasn't been found yet. So it's almost like ordering a meal where there's no main meal, but everything is a side dish. I very much worry that everything is going to be a side dish with a lot of new MMOs that release because they are adding everything and the kitchen sink into them without fully understanding that you need to have a core concept first before you enhance it with stuff. It's MMO tapas.
Oh, they made it to Linus.
Bro, okay,
How will Ashes of
I am so shocked. 46,000 people have watched this clip and no one, bro, this is the biggest L take I have ever heard Josh Strive Hayes say. Seriously, like, if he honestly did not know like anything about Ashes, like if he didn't watch the live streams or whatever, why can't you preface it? Like, why can't you say, hey, I know you want me to talk about Ashes of Creation, but like the knowledge I have is kind of limited. I don't know to my knowledge, and say it's in something like that. Like, it's fine to think if he only knew spots of things, but he's literally talking like he's an authority. Like, hey guys, let me tell you like why Ashes of Creation needs a core base game and why there's feature creep. Like, it seems to me like if I was just a casual MMO player like on his stream right now, I would be like, wow, yeah, like what's going on over there with Ashes? Like, what are they lost? Do they not have a sense of direction? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm really curious to see what the comments are like. I love that Josh is putting together 40K models. Let me see. As far back as I can remember, they have been wanting all of these features to be part of the release since day one. Is it feature creep? Of it's been part of their development goals. Now, whether or not they should release the game in a playable state and then add features later is another discussion entirely. Completely agree. Like, and again, Steven has, him being an MMO gamer himself, understands that he just doesn't want the minimum. The MMO audience deserves better, and that's what he is trying to pull off with Ashes of Creation. Now, whether he can pull it off or not is to be seen, but he's trying, and he's constantly communicating. They do monthly updates every month, giving us progress on the project. What a fantastic clip about Ashes of Creation and World of Warcraft. I am glad I clicked for this amazing clip. Oh my God. Wow. Like, oh my God. While I get where you're going, I respectfully disagree. The core premise of Ashes is around nodes and PvP. The scope creep is primarily to facilitate either node progression or PvP. Sure, some aspects like the naval warfare could have been postponed for a future update / expansion, but a lot of them were in the original Kickstarter setup, which is true. Taming, as for your example, is a crafting skill needed for animal husbandry, which in turn is used for mounts, which in the world with limited other fast travel is a core gameplay mechanic. Unless you want another walking simulator like New World, I don't disagree that Ashes is suffering from scope creep. However, they might suffer from over detailing their features and causing longer development time. That I can probably agree with. Then again, I would rather wait for additional year or two and have a solid game than have a game released in the state that New World was released. In that respect, I'll take a longer development time with lesser evil than an unfinished buggy release with way too much copy-pasted work. Agreed. Super freaking realistic take. I honestly can't view Josh's content quick enough hitting gold. Like, bro, I love Josh Drive Hage's content, but this is a huge L take. And to think that there's not a lot of dislikes on this clip, really, again, that just tells me that all the casuals, all the people that aren't in tune with Ashes of Creation, that aren't watching the live streams, like this clip and think that he is telling the truth, and that think that he is an authority in that particular game, that he knows what he's talking about, and people trust him because his scripted videos are really, really good. This is a very dangerous clip to get out there, personally. And I think the things that he said were very disingenuous. Very, very disingenuous. And again, you could have owned up in the beginning and said, hey guys, I haven't really watched Ashes in over a year. I don't know much. I mean, I know as much about it when I researched it back in 2020. Things could have changed, but with all y'all knowing that, let me give you my opinion. That would have been fine, and it would have been an L take because it's his opinion. But he's literally talking like he really knows what he's talking about, guys, and you got to trust me, and talking very intellectual like he usually does. And it was just wrong. I'm sorry, Josh. You were so wrong. And I don't know, man. What do you guys think about this clip? Like, I'm really curious to see like what my fellow Ashes people think about this. And yeah, it's a shame. But again, I know Josh Drive Hayes doesn't actually he does not own this channel. This is done by someone else that's not him. So, I'm not really going to, like be like, oh, Josh Drive Hayes sucks or whatever. I still love his content, but this is just a really bad take on Ashes, like super bad and wrong. See you in the next one, guys.